If they stand up and announce free Cadbury Dairy Milks for everyone, what does the opposition do?
They want Frodo Frogs. Welcome back to the Punters Politics Podcast, where we make politics simple for the everyday punter like me, Konrad.
And like me, James. And each week, we dig into the stuff that politicians hope you don't notice.
Coming up, Punter James, we review the government's new housing policy. Is it good for the punts or not? I interview a very smart punt with a solution to all of our political problems. And party at the back, Punter James, as always, fundraiser dinner update. And I've been on Cameo this week, making some money, so I've got an update on that.
Now, Punt Commander.
Just Punter's fine?
No, Punt Commander came through and I thought that was very good.
It's good, but just Punter is fine.
Fair enough. I've been scrolling. Did you see the reel that I sent to you this week?
Okay, this is the one where the bloke in the Lexus has got some kind of mechanism or curtain that covers his number plate as he drives through the tollway.
Yeah, that's right. So it's like he's driving through the tollway and a black curtain comes down over his number plate. Is it a curtain?
It doesn't seem to be flapping.
It's like a solid curtain comes down and covers up his number plate and then goes back up as he gets past the toll camera.
Yeah.
So this person is obviously not getting fines until some dirty, sneaky Karen
I like where you're going with this.
films him doing it. I'm assuming it's him. It might be her. I don't know.
We don't hate all Karens on the pod, but we do require punter Karens to use their powers for good and not evil, and I suppose that's why you're bringing it up.
Yeah, and you can argue each way on this, but I just like that this person is going, no, screw these private companies. It's not like that toll money is going to us taxpayers. It's going to some multinational big company somewhere, isn't it?
James. See, here I thought that this was a beauty pageant politics segment where I would have to explain to you why Channel 10 is wasting everybody's time, letting punter Karen get her time in the sun by dobbing in what seems to be a true Aussie hero. Right? But this was on the news and I had my spiel ready to explain to you why, this is a bit of a distraction news, but also to pivot. But I like that your little beauty pageant radar's gone, well, hang on a minute.
It has.
There's something not being spoken about.
I think I'm maturing in this entertainment news drama that's going on.
Yeah.
Look, it is just a waste of time for everyone involved.
Yeah.
But I get it. Tolls are not cheap these days.
And you know what? I think a lot of Aussie punters, to heartening me, because you know how I do believe we are a nation of dibber-dobbers at our core.
Yes.
It saddens me to be as honest with you punters out there. We dob on neighbours all the bloody time.
Yeah, people do.
And I was glad to see top comment $15,000 on this, 15,000 likes on this Instagram reel.
Yeah, what does it say?
Best Pessa. This is the new age un-Australian behaviour of snitching on the next bloke when it doesn't affect you at all. Low act by the dashcam owner and then followed up by what you wear, Australia, the land of snitches.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. If you like so much what they're doing, buy one yourself. I'm sure they're available on Temu.
You know what?
If you want to run the risk, get one yourself.
Because let's double down on this, since we're both on the unity ticket of this being solid beauty pageant politics.
Yep.
Guess what Channel 10 did not report with this story? And never reports with stories like this.
Or where the toll money actually goes.
Transurban.
Yeah.
Company you're familiar with. Multinational, meaning rich punts overseas are invested in it.
Yep.
Not an Australian-owned thing. It's a structure of what's called a stapled trust structure. Michael West, independent journalism, does a lot of digging following the money on Transurban.
Yep.
All you need to know, last 5 years, bugger all tax. When they do pay a little bit, they carry forward losses. And in the end, they don't pay tax.
Yeah, okay.
Because they essentially use this trust structure to have all the debts in one bucket to offset taxes in the future, and all the profits go to all the shareholders, and trusts don't pay tax. We can go into that, whatever it is. All you need to know is that this privatized public asset, that this hero is avoiding billions of dollars in Aussie tax tolls going offshore to billionaire tax bludging punts, and this hero is taking a stand. And you know what? I'm with him.
Yep, full credit.
Full credit. But for continuity's sake, we have just wasted everybody's time with what we'll call
beauty pageant politics.
Roll jingle.
Oh, yeah. Beauty pageant politics.
I'm going to leave that in.
No, you're not.
You know that. Punter James, before we get into the meat of this episode, vegetarian, so let's say the cauliflower. of the episode.
Cauliflower is the one food that I hated growing up. I still hate it now.
It's not great. It's not a winner.
Every single person to me is just, no, you haven't had it the right. Yes, I have. I've had it all the ways.
I've had it all the
and
ways.
it sucks.
You know, as a vegetarian, I'm not going into bat for cauliflower.
Oh,
you
good.
have to put that in a stew of cream and cheese for people to go, that's a meal.
And still,
it's a loser brother of broccoli. But this is not the podcast for this conversation.
fair enough. I've heard that you've got a sponsor update regarding the Punters Politics political fundraising dinner. Man, it's a mouthful.
Yes, I do, Punter James, and that is the fundraising dinner where we democratise access to buying off our politicians. There's only 30 tickets available, but we'll do a longer update at the end. This one is
You mean 30 tickets left that are available, right?
Correct.
There's already hundreds.
190 sold.
Oh, wow.
30 left, and we've got some giveaways to do. But we're doing more at the end of the show. I want to use this to talk about some legendary small business punts who've come on board to sponsor some tables, because when democracy's for sale, the Punters Politics podcast democratizes that. We won't call it corruption. We'll just call the way the game is played. So I would like to give a shout out to Colmed Group. Now, Colmed Group, Punter James, is Australia's leading provider of event medical services, first aid training and medical supplies, keeping punters safe at events across the country since 2006. Can't wait to see Colmed there, hopefully schmoozing politicians to get some policies that favour their business, which seems very important.
Also, if you feel like at the dinner having, I don't know, a heart attack, great people to have there. They can provide that emergency on-site assistance.
And training if you and I need to go up, brush up.
Doctors ABCD. Nailed it.
Yep, good one. For punters who don't know what he just referenced, that's a first aid terminology.
You should know.
Everyone should know. And the next legendary punts I want to shout out. This one is actually a punt close to my heart. Punter Ken in the Patreons. He has come on board and sponsored the fundraising dinner gala to buy access to politicians for his Affordable Housing Action Initiative. Now, Punter Ken wasn't just content and having a whinge and voting every 3 years. He went and bloody started something that is called the Affordable Housing Action Initiative. This is a charity tackling Australia's housing affordability crisis, delivering rent-to-buy and affordable housing programs that put people before profit. How bloody good does that sound? So stoked Punter Ken got sick of doing sweet FA and started to do something about it. So if you want to check that out, you can go to ahai.com.au. And obviously, if you want to check out Colmed Groups, you need any first aid stuff, you can go to colmedgroup.com.
Thank you, Punter Ken at Affordable Housing Action Initiative.
Legendary punts. Punter James, have you heard of anything called IMDb?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what it stands for, but yes.
You don't know what it stands for? Internet Movie Database.
Oh, I was going to go International Movie Data. Yeah, okay.
Okay, not bad.
So, yeah, I've been across it for a fair while. I'm not the type of movie buff that would be like, I'm going to watch this movie, let me look it up on IMDb to see the rating.
Oh, yeah.
I do know that lots of streaming channels already have like the Rotten Tomatoes or the IMDb rating up, so I'll take a look at that. But I can be swayed by a review.
Everyone can, which is why I've started PPDB.
Oh, another thing?
The Punters Policy Database.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, good. Excellent. This is a new podcast segment where we review government policies to see if they're helping everyday punters like us or just lining the pockets of their corporate mates. Sound useful?
Yes, I would like to place a bet right now. Can I? Am I allowed? Is that allowed in this segment or not?
We don't endorse gambling.
Okay, please continue.
Punter James, sit back, relax, watch the review. Let us begin. Welcome back, punters, to Punters Policy Database. Well, they've gone and done it again. After the declared success of Scott Morrison's original 2020 first home buying scheme blockbuster, we now have the long-awaited housing policy sequel that nobody asked for but somehow got greenlit anyway. Like most sequels, it got a bigger budget, flashier marketing, yet still has the same fundamental plot holes that made the original a housing policy disappointment for anyone who wasn't already rich. This time around, Labor's taken the director's chair and decided to remove all the guardrails. No income caps, no limits on the number of people who can use this scheme. Congratulations, your financial stress now has no income criteria. Let's talk about the good. A 5% deposit, gets first home buyers close to buying their first home in just a little bit sooner. No income caps and raised house price caps mean more eligible homes can be chosen from. First home buyers will get to avoid costly mortgage lenders insurance with the government guaranteeing 15% of the loan. And so now even more people get the opportunity to bid up the price of the home that they want to buy before essentially losing the bid to a government subsidised property investor with better tax breaks. Let's cover the bad. A smaller deposit means bigger loans and more interest will be paid to the banks over time, ultimately making a bad situation even worse if house prices were to ever dip. This policy is sure to continue Australia's Hunger Games for housing, where the odds are never in your favour, but at least everyone gets to starve together. So what's the verdict? Overall, if you're CommBank, a property developer, or part of the 1% who own 25% of all Australia's investment properties, I'd give this an 8.5 out of 10. It's a masterpiece of wealth transfer disguised as a housing policy. But if you're a regular punter trying to buy your first home, this gets a solid 4 out of 10. Good sounding intentions, but terrible long-term consequences. Better than nothing, eh? But for the next batch of first home buyers, nothing might actually have been better. Thank you for joining us on this week's review of the Punters Policy Database.
8.5 out of 10 for the property developers, CommBank.
It's good.
And a 4 out of 10 for the regular punters who are actually trying to break into the housing market.
Yeah, how do you feel? Will you be pursuing such policies, cheering it on maybe?
I've already bought a first house. So
Good for you. Yes, this is good for you.
Because it just drives up the price of houses.
This is great for you, Punter James. Fantastic.
The 11% per year just went up to 12%.
Not great for your kids.
No, not at all.
Sorry, kids.
I don't think I'm going to be checking this policy out anytime soon.
You'll be checking those gains on that house, am I right?
You're not wrong. Some of the detail in that as well, it's like, you know, when they did the first 5%, which I actually bought the house through,
Yeah.
there was caps on how much you could spend on a house. So I
Correct.
think in like regional or Newcastle, it was like 750 grand. And at the time, that was a lot for a house. Like everyone was looking around 450, 500 sort of thing.
Yeah.
They've taken that away, I
Yeah,
think.
no caps. Yeah.
And so now it's just, I thought it was up to 1.5 mil or 1.25 mil or something like that.
Depends on the city and the state. It changes around. But you're the best example. We might leave this in because you're the best example on it will help some punters in the door sooner.
Yeah.
But like we keep witnessing, it's just another short-term fix for another small cohort of people who shove them through the door.
It's a very small cohort of people who, I'll be careful how I say it, but I guess it's people who do have means to be able to buy a house, to be able to buy a house faster, or to put less money down on actually buying it. That's right.
They sped you up.
Yes. Yep.
Macro, long-term. Yep. Some punts might. That's why it's 4.5.
Yeah.
There's some people getting in the door. It's not a flat zero.
No, but for some people, it's going to get them in the door faster. It'll accelerate it by 6 months, a year, 2 years, depending on how much you need to save.
But a macro, are we solving housing problem? Nah, window dressings on the Titanic.
This again does nothing for the 15% that Cameron Murray, one of our Pokemon, one of our Puntermon, pointed out.
If you're renting,
they are in extreme dire circumstances with the housing crisis. It does nothing for that group that we actually need to target and help out.
And exacerbates the very problems and mechanisms. We've done this.
Yeah.
We're getting off track. Segment's gone off. But we've done this shit, Punter James, for the last 20 years.
Yep.
Why not one more?
Yeah.
That's why I put it in. It's a sequel to something we've already seen. Anyway.
Punter Konrad, once again, I was working hard this week. I didn't
advertise to everyone. You have a day job. We get it.
No. I didn't get the message from you this week going, "Hey mate, can you just drop in? I don't know, at 2:30 on a Tuesday."
Yeah,
no, I can't. But I've heard you have had an interview with someone. Can you fill us in?
I have. Punter James, you know how it seems that even when every expert agrees on the solution to something, to our biggest problems, for some reason, we can never pass anything that solves it. You know that situation?
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, it's like every academic and expert screaming out, this is what to do. We've got the formula right here. And it just doesn't happen.
And it's more infuriating. Like, I've been in the rooms, Punter James. There's a YouTube video, a YouTube channel if you want to check it out, youtube.com/punterspolitics, where I'm in a room with all these nerds and they've got all the solutions. I'm like, oh, great, do it. But it has to get passed by a bill, etc., etc.
Yep.
There's something going on here. And I want to introduce you to the next guest for the Punters, potentially a Puntermon.
Ooh.
Punter Ian from a group called New Democracy.
I may have heard about it at some stage. Can you tell me a bit about it?
Yeah, so New Democracy is a charity dedicated to restoring trust in public decision-making.
Geez, they have their work cut out for them.
Sounds pretty good, eh? And they are, and this is the best bit, taking practical steps right now to improve the very mechanics of how our democracy works. Now, you know, in the comments, everyone's like, what do we do about it? Just knowing isn't enough. You know, the punters that are itchy to do stuff.
Big time. They are keen.
This is for you.
Yeah,
because
right.
I'm offering solutions in this interview. So, disclaimer, we like to show our cards up front here. I'm going to show you some. Ian from New Democracy has been following our punter journey for a little while.
Okay, cool.
And he became aware, maybe on the pod, that we were down in a 12K hole for this dinner that Konrad kept selling underpriced tickets for, not realizing how much a red carpet costs.
Yeah, that's true.
We will be getting one, by the way. We will be getting one.
A red
for
carpet.
the event. Oh, yes.
Oh, that's important.
Yes.
I'm glad we've put the important things first.
Important things first. So maybe that's why I was in the 12K hole. But anyway, punter Ian saw that and went, you know what? We're going to support.
Really?
No official sponsor package. Just like, well, we'll help you out.
Far out. How good. That's a true blue Aussie.
Yeah. So cards on the table. This might be why I'm a fan of his idea. It could be because his idea is really good, but we're just getting financial incentives
That's
off
politics,
the table.
Isn't it? It's like we don't know if there's money that's been slid under the table or we don't know if it's a good idea.
So we got to let the punters decide.
For the time poor punters like myself who just haven't got time to listen to the whole thing, here is my 30-second punter edit with the important stuff.
Pay attention.
You are the best lobbyist in the country.
Democracy's great.
Free Cadbury dairy milks for everyone.
Democracy has ceased to function.
The Frodo Frogs lobby say it's the end of the world.
Yeah, we're selling out to absolutely everyone.
Caramello koalas.
Grease the wheels of democracy.
Incentives.
Democracy.
What does the opposition do?
They want Frodo Frogs.
What do you think about that punter edit, Konrad?
3 out of 10, not the best. Now, I'll do the plug for punters who want to stick around. I've kind of done a Diary of a CEO style interview, like intro to this, because you want to hook people.
I listened to some of those episodes and they're
he's
quality.
Great. He's good.
Yeah,
so we copy the best here at this show. So dim the lights for me in this room here, and I'll look straight down the barrel. By listening to this interview, you'll discover why our democracy has ground to a complete halt. Learn about a proven situation that's already working in countries like Ireland, and find out why a random group of truckers, childcare workers might be better at fixing the housing crisis than the entirety of federal parliament. I think you'll enjoy the episode. Is that Diary of a CEO vibes?
Yeah, kind of.
I'll work on it.
It's a bit smoother.
All right, Puntamon Ian from New Democracy. Now, I don't know what sentiments there are that you encounter around democracy. Such a big thing. We all seem to like it. How great is it that we can turf out a leader if we don't like them? But there's also a lot of negative sentiment online that I come across in the comments all the time. It's hopeless, it's broken, it's rigged, the system doesn't work, it doesn't matter who you vote for. Have you come across this sentiment given all the work you're doing?
Democracy is a word that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. We think in terms of there's a big definition and a little definition. The big definition, freedom of speech, freedom of association, separation, all these things are working super well. And if you take the little definition, which is how we make decisions, together, that's the bit that everyone agrees is broken. And I think it's pretty easy to separate the two things out. There's nothing wrong with our freedom of speech and freedom of association in Australia. Reaching a trusted public decision that doesn't have, I'm scared of the electoral incentives, I'm scared of, where my sources of money are, that's the tiny piece that we choose to work on.
You've already narrowed in on democracy's great. We want it to work, but you're saying, and I think everyone will agree with you, it just doesn't bloody seem to work. The housing crisis can't get fixed despite, I just spoke to a couple of economists recently who both agree with all the solutions, all the experts know, but for some reason, the solutions don't get passed. So are you really narrowing in on the solutions around how we make our democracy actually function instead of gridlock into inaction?
You've hit it. So what is it? Democracy is a much admired problem. You can pick up a newspaper and read 10 articles around what's wrong with it, and you finish the article going, okay, so what are you going to do about it? We have one answer to this, so what are you going to do about it? It's not a perfect answer. It's not a total answer, but we just take the view of, why don't we try it, see if it works, and if we can start to make trusted long-term decisions, then we'll do more of it. If we're wrong, if it goes horribly wrong, then, you just get to laugh at us and we'll go and sit in the corner for a while.
I like it. You got to try something. So before we get to this solution, which I'm very intrigued for, punters are desperate for solutions out there so that we know what we're looking for when our politicians are talking to us. But let's outline the problem then. The problem, as you're saying, is that democracy has ceased to function and be effective. Outline to me what this looks like and why you think democracy has ground to a halt in being able to solve the biggest problems we're facing.
Sure. All systems get more efficient over time. Accountants get better at finding taps, loopholes. Brickies get better at building houses faster. Over time, political parties have learned what it takes to win elections, and that's their primary goal. Their primary goal isn't to make you happy and solve your life problem. Their primary goal is for their side of politics to be in office. And once you look at everything through that lens and through a lens of incentives, everything kind of makes sense.
And it sounds like a key aspect of that is nobody's paying attention, which I can agree with. And part of the corner I sit in is we shouldn't bloody have to pay attention. That's why we have a politician, because I think the everyday Aussie punter goes, yeah, I put you in office to you look at the paperwork, talk to the experts, talk to the nerds and solve my problem. I've got a job over here to do. I shouldn't have to nitpick your every decision. And obviously democracy is great so that we can see the decisions and verify that they've made the right ones. But when nobody's paying attention, it sounds like the deception is way easier for politicians to pull just so they can win.
It's incentives. You do what makes sense to you, right in front of you. And the photo op makes more sense than taking a decision with some pain today.
So the goal for politicians is to win. Optics trump effective action because sometimes effective action can be immediately unpopular. The biggest example everyone always thinks of is Australia's decision on guns. The footage of John Howard making the difficult decision, everyone unpopular with it. But the long run, we're all happy that no one shoots up schools in Australia. That seems to be the problem we're outlining here. And now you're coming to your solution. Pitch to me your solution. You're saying we already have the solution because it's in our criminal justice system.
Yeah, it's a variant of the jury. I'm not going to torture the analogy, but pick an issue you care about. Let's do an easy one, the health system. It's unpopular about how do you pay for this. Imagine I pick 50 to 70 Australians at random, like complete lottery, just a simple match to the census profile. So I've got people by 10-year age bracket, 50-50 by gender. We ask people if they own or rent where they live. You only need to do really basic randomization just to get people all walks of life, blue collar, white collar, no collar, together. We pose them a question. So it might be, how can we pay for the health system we want? Now, if you think about election campaigns, we just came through one where the Prime Minister said, I'm going to spend $8 billion. And Peter Dutton, about 20 minutes later, went, yeah, I'll spend $8 billion too. Probably didn't know on what, but spending $8 billion sounded kind of awesome. And as voters were like, $8 billion, they must care about health. That's our opinion reaction. So I'm going to take a random group of people. I'm going to give them 50, 60 hours spread across 3 to 4 months. So you come along on a Saturday, having been selected as in part of this group, and you've got a simple task that you're going to answer this question as a group. So you've got to mix with people with really different views. In essence, what we've found is those groups are able to find agreement. So 80% is the floor, but commonly 95% of people can coalesce around one solution.
95%?
Easily done.
Of a random selection of Australians will agree.
Yeah, because there's no incentives. There's no incentives to disagree. Konrad, if we have, I don't care what side of politics, if they stand up and announce free Cadbury dairy milks for everyone, caramello koalas, what does the opposition do?
They want Freddo frogs.
Yeah. You have the Freddo Frogs lobby say it's, the end of the world. Yeah. You've always got to wheel out an opposite position. A jury of people, we just live here. They don't have the barrier. They want to find solutions. They're not worried about re-elections. They don't have any donors. You start to see that the barriers to judgment are getting stripped away. And that has been found in a number of countries that they're actually taking really difficult decisions.
So talk to me about how it exactly would work in Australia. Does the government commission some kind of citizen jury around an issue? So if we pick a contentious issue that we just can't seem to solve, let's say, do we get rid of the capital gains tax discount? Immigration would be a flashpoint with people. How do you go from an issue to the government, to a jury, to a law?
Yep. So at the core of your question is we pre-agree authority. So we'll commonly get retained by a premier or a minister who says, here's a hard problem to answer. And as part of our taking it on, we pre-agree a level of authority. So generally, the report's public immediately. Government will respond substantively in 60 days. And that jury of people gets an hour with the commissioning minister or premier at the same time. What I'm trying to land is it's the best democratic opportunity you're going to get. Most access to politicians is either haggled through an electorate office or generously paid for. Why not give people this democratic opportunity? And if the rest of the community sees that room of 50 and goes, hey, someone with a job like me or a life like me in there, at least you feel connected to it.
This system sounds like it would be a net benefit for democracy and trust and help us unstick our broken system. Are there any countries that effectively use this to ungridlock something?
Yeah, I mean, the best example, again, is Ireland. The fact that you can have what was a right-aligned government wanted to reform abortion law. Now, whatever you may think of the issue, political degree of difficulty, 11 out of 10. Yeah, you've got the church as a major public voice. They had a right to life in the Constitution. Like, how hard do you want to make this thing?
And they have like a big Catholic, like way more religious than Australia sort of is, which would make the issue even more challenging.
Easy to move votes on that, isn't it? Easy to run a scare campaign. You know what the Irish government did? They picked 100 people at random, gave them 9 months and said, does this law need to change? And if so, how?
Wow. If so, how?
If so, how? And here's what it is. Think about how political campaigns normally go. You get a yes and a no, and they pick the worst argument of the other side and just repeat it endlessly. When you added a group of everyday people in the middle, they said, well, there's 6 scenarios where it should be legal, and there's 3 scenarios where we want it kept illegal. Gender selection, for race, cultural reasons and things like that. They wanted that still to remain illegal. What does that let a government do? It lets them say, we're going to have a referendum, and if it passes, we're going to broadly follow this 6 and 3 guideline. You've just removed the sort of stupid, endless arguments at the extremes. Now, for us, the success is that a government was able to discuss it at all. It's the ability to put it on the agenda. For what it's worth, that referendum passed 67-33, which is not how anyone expected that to go. Really interestingly, Konrad, 40% of Irish voters could name something that the Assembly had recommended. Why? Because you're more inclined to listen to someone with a day job than the endless politician on the telly, repeating the talking points, trying to get re-elected.
Yeah.
Just having the truckie from Cork, the childcare worker saying, I've learned some things and I think I need to change my mind. You never hear that in public policy. All we're hoping to do is be a provocation of the more people talk to their MP and say, let's do a citizens' assembly, can be on housing, can be on tax. We're actually willing to do the live fire test. This will be completely open, completely public. You can come along and watch it all and sit in the room, and it's either going to work or it's not. Either a group of Australians can find common ground on solutions where they thought of the costs and trade-offs, or we're wrong.
Yeah.
But it cost us about $2 billion per term of Parliament to operate the federal Parliament, and it would cost about $2 million to try this. It is 1/1000th of the cost to try to make Parliament work better. Konrad, that's why we got in touch and said, you're making people interested in democracy. Yeah. We've got a fun approach that is worth a try. And, more and more politicians are starting to listen. Unfortunately, not enough of them on the cabinet benches.
Not the ones holding power, which seems to be a difficult challenge, because it sounds like the politicians and their short-term incentives are always too often the problem. So let's get them out of the way as often as we can, and a citizen jury style decision-making process sounds like one way to make him take a backseat, because if there's one thing politicians don't want to do, it's give up power. That's why they're so obsessed with winning. So I'm pretty on board. I like the solution. I will take 3 of them, and I would love to see something like this play out. And it's not just because you guys generously donated to some tables for the Punters Political Fundraising Gala. Question on that. Are you and anyone from your team going to be at this event?
At least 2 of us, and we're a little team, so that's most of the organisation. Unfortunately, the lovely philanthropist who actually writes the check, Konrad, I'm not giving away my money. Luke is overseas, or he would be down there. And I think we asked for a grand total of 4 seats.
So we're going to have to give away a couple if you're not going to use them.
Yeah, I'm up for that. And Konrad, the best part of this is no one ever talks about democracy. They talk about politics and get a bit football team of, my side's good, your side sucks. And that's politics. Talk about our democracy. So we were sort of hopefully pretty easy in terms of saying, we like what you're doing. You sent out an email saying I'm 12 grand behind. So we pretty unscientifically just went, well, let's take the first digit off that. We'll back you for that.
Once again, in this event, the Punters Politics crew, we're selling out to absolutely everyone. So I'm actually very happy to be openly and happily selling out to a very good sounding and proven solution to offer Australia's democracy. Ian, I can't wait to see you there. I hope to see you schmoozing as many politicians as you can and, offer them a few gifts. Maybe it'll help grease the wheels of democracy and get the politicians out of the way.
Konrad, if you can put them in the room, we can convert them to the idea. So there's the partnership.
Well, we've got 10 in the room. So between the 2 of you, you'll have to do a bit of working the room to get around to all of them.
Well, look at that. You are the best lobbyist in the country. And Konrad, you're trying to get a Punters lobbyist in there, and it's fun. And hopefully we see a point where with the citizens jury, having 50 people in there on any given issue is maybe a good step too.
Any way we can increase regular punters as quote-unquote lobbyists into Parliament House will get me on board every day of the week. Ian, thanks so much for joining the punters on the Punters Politics podcast.
Great to be here. Appreciate it, Konrad.
All right, Punter James, you know I have been working hard all week on Cameo.
Yeah.
Delivering 20-second cameos to people who give me money. It's like OnlyFans, but for my voice and face and not just my body.
Yeah, as part of the Cameo for a Cameo.
Yes.
You're doing cameos as Punters Politics himself.
Yep.
To raise money to buy our own cameo person of someone much more influential than yourself.
Yes, we're leveraging.
Yeah, that's
we're
right.
We're like doing the paperclip trade.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
I start
I'll
with the
trade
paperclip.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. So punters pay me to do a cameo and I use that money. And last week, the great Shannon Knoll did a cameo for us, $144. That was my own pocket money. This one is going to be coming from the punters.
Okay, so this week, and obviously it's all to go towards getting influential punters to influence Prime Minister Anthony Albanese to come along to the Punters Politics political fundraising dinner.
Albo goes to fundraising dinners all the time with corporate executives and billionaires, and why won't he come to ours is the real question. And you know what he needs? Peer pressure. So this week I have managed to raise...
How much? Give us the figure.
The figure is $199.47.
Hey, it's not nothing.
It's not nothing, but I'll tell you, mate, bloody Cameo, boy oh boy, do they take a hefty chunk. I'm talking $20 out of the $50 that I'm charging.
They're doing all right.
So a lot of your money, punters, are going. So maybe if we want to bootleg this thing, just text me, I'll invoice you, I'll give you one, and I'll take all the 50 and... no benefit to you.
Yeah.
Actually, I give you a 10% off like Bunnings.
Here's the thing. Is that just a fixed fee or is it a percentage? Because I'm just thinking if you're paying...
I'm not sure. I think it's a percentage. It would be. It would scale up for sure.
So you reckon the top person on there, I don't know who it was, but they were like $3,500.
Yeah.
You're telling me they're taking a percentage of that?
It's a good question. Let's do some homework on that. But Cameo doing very well out of this, but it's a pretty easy to use app. They're not sponsoring us, so okay. The app's pretty easy to use anyway.
Let's round up. We got $200
to spend. $200, and here's what we'll do. We'll field suggestions on Instagram.
Okay.
So head over to the Punters Politics podcast. We'll be fielding suggestions today and tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, when the episode drops.
Have you got a couple of options?
I have a few to run through now.
Right, sweet.
And then we'll put the most recommended people within budget towards on Patreon.
Yeah, okay.
And the Patreon punts will vote on who we get to do our cameo for the following week.
Sounds good.
Next week we'll hear from a cameo that the Patreon's on.
Hurry up. I want to see who you've got.
Yes. So fielding a few suggestions of people we could have. Someone shot through Bush Barbie.
I've never heard of Bush Barbie.
Here's a bit of a sample of what we could get with Bush Barbie.
G'day, Bushy here. Now, I've got a very important message for a guy named Paul. Why? Well, Paul, I've heard that you've been working really hard to try and pop a baby into Sophie, and you're getting a little disheartened.
We've all been there, Paul. We've all been
Once
there.
again, we've all been there, Paul. Nothing like an attractive blonde being Aussie
Dressed up like
AF.
Steve Irwin.
Dressed up like Steve Irwin.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a visual of an Aussie icon. Easy on the eyes. Maybe that'll work on Albo. Possible.
I don't think Albo's ever heard of her. That's the issue.
No, but he's heard of Australiana iconography.
Oh, yeah.
And she is
Haven't we all?
steeped in it.
Yeah, okay.
Price on Bushy as she goes by, $75. So we could afford. We could afford.
Almost get 3.
We get 3. Another we could get Greg Chappell, former Australian cricket captain.
Yeah, now that Australian cricket team and Australian politics go
hand
together
in hand.
like a glove and a hand.
Or like 2 wicket-keeping gloves and a ball slipping through the keeper.
Sure.
As Aussies would say in sporting references.
Jeez, you're a sports guy.
Thank you. $76.
76. Okay, we can
$76.
almost get 3 of him as well.
We could also go 74. There's similar pricing. Steve Willis. Heard of that name? No, maybe not. But you have heard of the Commando from Biggest Loser.
Yeah, there we go.
Maybe a stern talking to.
Yeah, he would give him a pump-up motivational speech.
We can make him like give one of those
Come on,
paradings.
Albo.
You know how the person working out on the Biggest Loser show would be like crying and sweating. He was the guy that gave him no quarter. He was like, "You're gonna get up there. I'm not gonna take it. Get up, get up."
And fair enough.
So you know what? Maybe that's a tactic that could work on the Albo.
Okay, is he only $75? I thought he would.
Not bad.
Yeah, right.
Not bad. James Magnuson, another athlete.
Now, is this the jacked James Magnuson?
Big dog
yeah.
Magnuson, who is just yoked for the enhanced games.
Yeah. Oh, geez, I got too big, so I couldn't swim as fast.
and
you
I
really
couldn't wear a swimsuit because I kept breaking them.
Yeah, we've all been there.
We've all been there. $76 as well. I'm getting a trend that maybe I should be $76.
No.
I'm not as yoked as Magnussen.
Okay, I'll put you up better than Bush Bargeby, but these other guys, nah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? Nikki Webster. Nothing
Oh.
will toy the nostalgic heartstrings more than an Australian. He'll
At
just
Strawberry Kisses, right? At the 2000 Olympic Games.
He'll see Nikki Webster's face and he'll be transported back to Australian golden era. We got the Olympics.
He's inner Western Sydney's not that far away.
Yeah,
he would have been there.
That's a good one, but $106 for the old Webster.
Yeah, but she is a household name.
Yeah, so maybe worth a premium on that. Or I'm still hung up on this, and punters will decide: do we keep saving?
Oh, get a big one. Is there someone that you think is lots of hundreds of dollars that would be really good?
This is who I think personally. I'd love Chuck Norris. I'm just saying, he's $682. I feel like that's within reach.
Now, I'm with you for the,
He's not Australian, but...
Yeah, see, that's my thing.
But Australians love Chuck Norris. Who doesn't love Chuck Norris?
Everyone does love Chuck Norris.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I don't know if he's going to be as influential as like a couple of...
You know what, Punter James, is a fair point. I will let the punters over on Patreon decide
Fair enough.
who we get. And next week, we'll let you know if we're continuing to save.
That's why we do everything for the punters.
We do it all for the punters. So we'll let you know next week if we're continuing to save, or maybe we've got a couple of cameos from a few Aussie icons.
Conrad, you did say you were going to give us a little more information on the Punters Politics Political Fundraising Dinner brought to you by Sponsor Pending.
Yep.
Still sponsor pending?
Sponsor warm pending.
And you're talking main headliner.
So they'll be headlining. There's been a deal inked. That's all I can say at this time. I'm hoping next week will be the big reveal.
How good.
But they're great. They're good.
No matter who it is,
they fit us.
We love them already.
They fit us like O.J. Simpson's glove.
Oh.
Wait, that didn't fit, did it?
I don't know.
If the glove fits or quit, I can't remember what it was.
I don't know. Please still sponsor us. Okay, so something's inked.
Yeah.
More next week, maybe.
And like I said before, quick reminder, 30 tickets left. And like we mentioned before, we are giving away tickets. So keep a sharp eye on the Punters Politics Podcast Instagram page and my Punters Politics page, because thanks to Colmed Group and the Affordable Housing Action Initiative, they sponsored so that they can subsidize free tickets for regular punters. So regular punters can access politicians as well. So we've got giveaways coming up. Keep an eye on the Instagram page. Not many tickets left.
I'm very keen for this dinner. I'm hungry already.
Well, 3 courses. Save your appetite.
Done.
I'm hoping the food will be good. I don't know.
It will be.
It'll be great. It'll be great. And if you only paid $50 for your ticket, no
It'll
complaints.
be extra great. Yeah.
That's a bargain.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's the show, punters. Remember, videos drop on Instagram and YouTube all bloody week. So if you miss us, head over there. We're also on Facebook for the boomers, X for the toxic people who just are obsessed with Elon Musk. I don't check any of my messages on X, but I post and ghost.
Oh, great.
Yep, post and ghost.
That sounds worthwhile.
And I'm also on Snapchat. That's slowly growing as well.
Yeah,
TikTok,
that's
obviously.
weird, man. That's weird.
For the people under 16 that are on social media that are not supposed to be on social media. And to, honestly, Punter James, to the punters who share this stuff, like podcasts especially only grow because legendary punts share it with other punters.
Yeah.
So genuine thanks. If you like what we're doing, share it with a punter, because no one would see this content. Algorithms don't love it, but because you share it, punters see it.
I was looking at the reviews the other day on Spotify, which is my only platform that I get on. We're at 1,500 5-star reviews.
That's all legendary punters. Like, genuinely, only reason.
Very cool.
That's amazing. So more is always better in this game.
So any questions or any show ideas, send it into oipunter@punterspolitics.com. Power to the punters.
Power to the punts.